Start whenever you're ready.
All right. So, hi, I'm Jonathan Romero, one of the co-founders of Flkr Lytr. I'm originally I was born in New Mexico, grew up in Phoenix, and then I moved here to Boston about 5 years ago now. So Phoenix, Arizona is kind of like where I was originally grown up.
Hmm.
It wasn't too bad. The schools, I would say, were hit and miss, but again, it's all about how you look things for yourself, and then you just kind of keep moving forward.
Hmm.
Um, Went to school with got an English and philosophy degree. Went to UMass Boston. So and then right after that, I kind of came up with Flickr at that time. And then as soon as I graduated, I was like, all right, so I don't know why I went for English and philosophy. I think I'm going to work on my own business. And then we really just started going forward from there. And then now I'm pretty much here. Just I live in Quincy now. I lived in Dorchester for a while, and then now I'm just planning on moving around. So we'll see how it goes for the next couple years. I would say I'm not sure if Boston's going to be my home place, but again, it's definitely a good place to really start and kind of find yourself as a person, I think. So
Yeah, for sure.
I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
So
Well, I think
yeah,
you answered our first question. Are you hood-grown? So has it influenced your aesthetic? I think you have had like a really cool way of going from west to east, and we'll see what's the next stop for you. But you're definitely, uh, finding your spaces, and that's what's cool, and making your moves that way. So we're
yeah,
here to talk about your brand, your products, Flickr lighters. These guys, oh God, I just
Flickr lighter. It happens. Don't worry. You get
I
pretty good with it.
still have yet
Like
to
start
like
catching
master it
it.
yet. I'm
Trying to
trying.
do it with my left hand.
Oh yeah, you're skilled. Ooh, eh.
I have to be. I have to be.
Yeah, it's your product. I'm sure you use them a lot. So how did you all come up with this idea?
So it's kind of a funny story. It just I just came back from it with my brother, and then I kept talking about the fidget spinner. I was like, "Hey, the fidget spinner is kind of cool. I kind of want one." And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, don't get one. Don't get one. I'll get you when we get back home." And so I was like, "All right, let's do it." So I get back home, and he gives me a fidget spinner, and I'm playing with it. And I'm a very fidgety person, so I was like in love with it. I was like, "Man, this
Mm-hmm.
thing is actually pretty cool. Like I can't stop using it." And then like literally 30 minutes later, I was like, "All right, now I'm bored. All it does
Yeah.
is spin, and it's not really doing anything else, and it's just not there."
Mm-hmm.
And then so I'm a big cannabis activist, so I kind of like I think it's nothing wrong with it. I feel like everybody should do
Mm-hmm.
it and learn about it. Blah blah blah, all the fun
That's
stuff.
how we met.
And
We
then
met through a cannabis love fest through MRCC,
yeah,
which is really cool, Mass Consumer Culture Council. So yeah,
yeah, and
continue.
I went to
Sorry to
UMass
interrupt.
Boston with most of those guys.
Yeah.
No worries. And then so I was going to go partake, and it was funny because I reached in my pocket and I had a lighter and a fidget spinner, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what's so annoying? I was like, they need to just like combine these two together. And then my brother was like, that'd be kind of cool. And I just kept looking at it. I was like, that would be really cool. I don't know why they
Like,
haven't done it yet.
really, really cool.
And then I was like, I went home, pretty much broke that fidget spinner that I had, got a drill, started drilling holes into some old lighters that I had, and then
Hmm.
I kind of came up with this one. So this is the very
Oh,
first
cool.
one.
Oh, nice. You
So
got
it
the
was
first prototype,
big,
the first one that you
yep,
made. Oh,
big
nice.
bulky, and and then as soon as I made this, I called my friend Leandro. I think you met him before, my
Hmm.
co-founder. And me and him have always been like business guys, and we've always bounced ideas. And I was like, bro, I have something here. And he was like, what
Hmm.
is it? And I was like, a fidget spinner lighter. And he's like, I don't understand. So I video call him, and I was like, look at this. And I
Look,
started showing it.
look.
And then he was like, what? Oh my God, that's like people would love that thing. And then
Hmm.
it just kind of just started going from there. And then we just started looking into patents, and then we started looking into how we would scale this and whether or not people liked it. So it was it was interesting. So that was literally like that. Called him, and then like the
Hmm.
next day, I just kept making more and more to try to make it better. So like the next one is this one actually.
Oh,
So
cool. So this one that's more
this
of a
is like the
case.
second one.
And
Yeah.
that is more
So
like a case rather than it being like within the lighter itself.
so actually no, this one's still built into the lighter itself.
Oh, okay.
The only problem is like when you built them, when I kept doing it like this, you couldn't light the fire. It just sparks, right?
Hmm.
So I was like kind of like excited, and I showed my dad, and he was like, well, it's still a fidget spinner. And I was kind of hurt that I was like, what do you mean it's not a fidget spinner? It's a lighter. And then he was like, does it light? And I was like, no. And I was like, all right, fine, you got it.
Kind of lights.
So I was like, fair enough, I'll let that slide. And then it just pushed me more to kind of figure out how we're gonna really get this to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I'll show you the other one. This is the final one that we make. So I call this one the Frankenstein because it's a little bulky. But this one finally spins and then it lights. But the problem is it
Nice.
was, it's not very aesthetically pleasing and it doesn't really
Yeah.
fit in the pocket well, and it just wasn't going well. So this one right here though, me and my co-founder went to the Harvest Cup, or no, I'm sorry, why am I blanking? The NECAN convention.
Mm-hmm.
And we went around showing this off, and everybody at the cannabis convention was like, that is so cool. Like, even though it looked like this. And so
yeah. So you knew you had a good idea.
Oh yeah.
That's
so
the
then
point.
I was like, let's just keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cool. So
dope. So that's like
again, I have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, just like the design process was obviously just like testing and just seeing what works and how it can fit together. So how did you end up with this kind of a product with a actual like sleeve and the lighter going inside like this?
Yeah.
So you can still use it and you can replace the lighter, which is great. And then there.
So kind of what happened with there is we ended up having like this nice deal with somebody, but then we realized, hey, look at that one, I like it. And then some of them you can even design. I drew this one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you can draw on it.
Just like, but we were looking into really kind of like launching and scaling this, but then the problem was that it had a lot of barriers because getting a lighter shipped to the States with with all the fluid and all this other stuff, it was just like you can't really do that, and it's just going to cost an arm and a leg. And so we're sitting there brainstorming, and we're like, you know what, maybe we should just like maybe do a sleeve. And so like I found this one sleeve, started making sleeves again. So we started like I did the same process, just started making a whole bunch of prototypes.
Right.
So this would be like one of the other prototypes, like a lot fatter.
Right.
So like this one took a long time to get to this point, and it works well, but the problem is the lighter never came out, the bearings, and it was so fat. So once we got to the sleeve, I realized that was a better one because we don't have to buy the lighters. We can just ship in the sleeves and then have people put their own lighters in there. And so it made a lot more sense to just really go with the sleeve. And so that's kind of like when we shifted our direction. It was just like, let's just do sleeves for now. And now we even have them in the big version.
Oh, nice.
So, so people can do the big sleeve. I like the big one personally just because it fits a little bit better in my hand. But the small one works just as well.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the small one. I like this one.
Yeah.
So how do you go about producing these lighter these sleeves now? These seem, from how I look at them, I can tell that they're 3D printed. Am I correct?
Correct. I'm actually 3D printing some as we speak right now. So
oh, nice.
there's different versions of them. So for example, the green one, this one, is a higher quality 3D print. It was one that we went to kind of like another manufacturer to do it, but it was a little too expensive for us to really start to work together with it. So we ended up having to start designing them ourselves. And so, which is still nice because now they're made in Boston. We take our time to really take care of them and just move them forward. But yeah, they're 3D printed for now. We're definitely looking into large scaling them. We want to do eventually hemp plastic because we don't want to keep like adding into like the bad carbon plastic and polluting the ocean. We want them to be nice and biodegradable. So once we're not there at that point yet, but we're definitely working on it, and it's just step day by day at this point.
And you're also working on your patent, correct? Like your patent's pending. So this is no one can steal this idea from you. It's yours.
Absolutely. We got 2 patents, or we got a couple now actually.
Oh, nice.
And it's easy. I would definitely say that we had to kind of go to an outside source, and it's called Inventor Process. And so what they pretty much do is they just kind of help you pretty much build the forms and everything else, and then really just start shipping them out. But it still takes a lot of work, and it's kind of expensive. So usually what I like to tell people now is like sometimes ideas you got to do a little bit of your own research because what they won't check for you. So me and my co-founder Angela, we went through every website. We just started looking up lighter sleeves like spinners, couldn't find anything. And then that's when we decided to go for it. So if you have an idea, you definitely should do as much research as possible, because the patent companies won't. They'll just take your money and then do the patent and say, whoops, somebody already did this. And then you just spent all this money and you can't get it back. So, but now it's kind of fun. Oh yeah, it was our first one. So we have one for the one that's into the lighter. So like we call this version 1, and then now we have one for the sleeves. So now nobody can do the sleeves. And then
nice.
We started to do others. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Clipper lighter and Zippos. I'm sure. So we decided to extend the patents onto those as well. Oh yeah.
You're gonna have sleeves for any kind of lighter.
Yeah.
So cool.
All lighters. Like you
all
got
lighters.
You got a sleeve for it.
So that's what's next for Flkr. You guys are going to expand to all lighters and new plastics, hemp plastics. That's exciting. Can you tell the people where they can find your product? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Right now we're on Instagram, our main channel, just because we feel like it's a little bit more photo and video dependent. Facebook is going to get a little bit larger, but Flkr Lytr, so FLKR is our Instagram, and also FLKRlytr.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me about your product. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone can, use it to a little bit of calm during the day if you need that, especially during times like this. Just something to distract you for a little bit is nice. So I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on here. And the cool thing is, a lot of the people that we really target the cannabis market because we want to be connected. So for example, if I see you with a Flkr right off the bat, I can say, maybe you partake, and I can feel a little bit more comfortable with inviting you or kind of having that interpersonal connection.
That's true.
I really want it to be a symbol for the cannabis users now. So,
when we eventually have parties again, when we eventually can have a party again, then it'll be a nice product to have with you. But thank you so much. Absolutely. I appreciate it. All right, dope.